Hey guys, good to see you again. This is, I guess, a bit of a bittersweet video update. This is our last video from Ireland. This is our last time doing a video update, a monthly update from within this country. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I'm out here at our office. That right there is where we're staying for the next week before we head out. Ashlyn is once again not feeling too great today, so she's inside kind of trying to recover from that. It's kind of an inconvenient time to be sick, but it is what it is. And so I wanted to do one last update for you guys, and rather than this being an update of what's going on next, I really wanted to take today and just give an update, give a kind of a closing of our time here, and really talk through what's happened in the last 2.5 years, what the kind of the numbers of what's happened through school programs. It's currently raining, so I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if the video picks it up, but it is currently raining. There's some dark clouds over there, so it may get quite a bit more rain in the next few minutes, but we'll carry on anyway. So I've got some notes about what's happened over the last 2.5 years, and just want to share with you guys what God has been doing here. What's realistically the numbers of what has been accomplished through these school programs these last 2.5 years. What has happened because of you guys, because of your prayer, because of your support, because of your messages and your encouragement and the short-term teams that have come over, all those. You guys have made it possible to do what I'm about to talk about. So thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. So when I got here, what they were doing was one-off programs where they would go to one school once a year, or a specific school once a year. They would work with usually about 100, 150 students in that school every year, but they would never see the same kids twice. So what I did was I continued that. I continued doing those types of programs, and through those types of programs over the last 2.5 years, I've done 23 one-off programs, which is really a lot of programs. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of logistics to make that stuff happen. So I've been able to lead 23 of those programs in schools all over the country. Through those, I've been able to work with 1,770 students. That's insane. That's a lot of students. And each one of those programs, before we got here, they were very game centered and very topical. What I kind of transitioned that into was gospel. I've been able to share with every single one of those students. Every one of those 1,700 students has heard the gospel usually at least 3 or 4 times throughout this country and all over the country. I've been able to share the gospel with 1,770 students. The challenge there is that those kids, I'll never see them again. OM will likely never see them again in that school, in that context. We may see them on the street randomly, but we have no way for follow-up. There's no way to plug them into a local church. So what I really wanted to do, what I really wanted to see happen was find a way to engage deeper, to find a way to actually build relationships, build connections with the students, build connections with the town, and really build more out of this rather than just kind of throwing the gospel at them and leaving. So what I did was I approached one of the chaplains here that we have a good relationship with, told her my heart, told her my desire, and she said yes, absolutely. She really wanted us to figure out how to do that. So she and I worked hard to figure out the best strategy for that, and what we came up with was this recurring method where we would go into rather than just one school, we would go into individual classrooms, and I would take the religion class for that day. So we were doing it in different schools. We ended up doing it at a lot of different places, but with her, I told her, I need to figure this out. I need a guinea pig. And she was more than happy to do it. So what we did was actually took one of her classes. We were in there once a month with 20-something students, once a month with a curriculum that built upon itself, with a video series, with questions, and it was this thing that lent itself to being able to build relationships with the students. It was incredible. We did that for a year, and then once I had proved that that worked, after a few months of that, I was able to promote it to another chaplain who desperately wanted the exact same thing. She wanted us to be able to build these relationships and really encourage the kids to dig into these things, dig into what they believe. So I sat down with this second chaplain, or the second teacher, and she literally sat down at the table, put a piece of paper in front of me, and said, "These are all of my religion courses. Which ones do you want to teach?" And that was just this incredible moment that I can still remember sitting there in front of her and trying to not let my jaw drop at how cool of an opportunity that was. So what I ended up doing with her was I took 5 of her classes every Tuesday morning, and me and a team from OM went into that school every Tuesday, I think it was, for 7 or 8 weeks in a row with the same kids. It was 5 classes, so each class was 25, 30 kids, and we got to just hang out with them, talk about the Bible, talk about faith, talk about why this stuff matters. And it was incredible to see these kids' growth. There were moments where we were talking through something and I would be in front of the class and you would see the light bulb go off in their head. You would literally, like, their eyes would open. These moments where the kids would just change, where they understood something more. They understood one step further towards the gospel. It was just an incredible time with this school. Unfortunately, after one semester of doing it with that school, the administration of that school decided they didn't want religion in the school anymore. So we were never able to go back into that school. It was a huge challenge. It was really hard to deal with. It was a really hard time to get through, seeing such an incredible opportunity just slam shut. But that freed us up to actually pursue another school that was right down the road from us. So that school, I was actually able to get into that school starting the fall semester of last year, so the beginning of last school year. I have been in that school every single Monday. For the first semester, it was every Monday. For the second semester, it was every Monday. But what they did was they took one religion class and gave it to me for the first half of the school year, and then another religion class with the second half of the school year. So in that school, I've worked with a bunch of the kids and done two full programs with them that just starts from very basics and builds to the gospel and why Jesus matters. And it was incredible to see from day one how closed off they were, how uninterested they were, and then at the end of it, they were digging in. Just some incredible questions, incredible conversations have come out of this. And it's just been amazing to see God working through us, but in their lives and in their understanding of Him and in their understanding of what He means for their lives, to wake them up to the fact that religion actually matters. It's not just this dead thing that old people do. It's this vibrant thing that matters in life. So through that, we've also been handing out Bibles. We've been giving the opportunity for kids. We're not allowed to give out Bibles. I can't say, "Here, take this," but I can have a stack of Bibles and say, "If you want one, you can come take one." And through that, we've been doing that at every school program for the last year and a half. And it's been incredible to see kids taking Bibles. So as far as the numbers, again, I've done 23 of those one-off programs where we're in the school once. And through those 23 one-off programs, I've worked with 1,770 students, okay? I've done the recurring program 5 different times. With those 5 different times, that was a total of 238 students that I've been able to impact and build deep relationships with. Me and my team. It's not just me that does this. It's a team of us that goes. So with those 238 kids have been in those programs. But because of the fact that it's recurring and we go back anywhere from 6 to 10 or 12 times, I've actually been able to have 1,604 gospel conversations just with these kids, to be able to dig in with them and to be able to pursue a relationship with them rather than just come in and throw it at them. So I've been able to have 1,604 conversations in total. So overall, in the last 2.5 years, I have done 108 programs. If you take every class, every half-day program, every full-day program, if you take everything together, me and my team have done 108 school programs, which is just incredible. In those 100 programs, there have been 2,008 individual students that I've worked with. That's a ton of students. 200. I have been able to talk with 2,008 students throughout this country, who probably 95% of those had never heard the gospel before, have heard the gospel now at least once. 2,008 students. So within those 2,008 students, somewhere around 160, 180 of those have taken Bibles. These kids who, before we walked in, before we ever started talking with them, would have said the Bible is irrelevant, the Bible is worthless. About 160, 180 of those now have Bibles in their hands, sitting on their shelves, by their beds, that they can read, that they can go through on their own, that they can dig into, and they can read about Jesus because of these programs, because of the things you guys have equipped us to do, the things you guys have enabled us to do. So when you count up the recurring programs, the amount of the conversations that have come out of the recurring programs, plus the amount of kids that we've worked with in the one-off programs, I have had a total of 3,374 gospel conversations. Me and my team, the people that go with me to these programs, we've been able to have over 3,300 conversations with kids who have never heard the gospel, and now they have. The country has changed. These students are changed. As we've been leaving, I've been hearing story after story from older people who have said, I came to Christ because of someone doing this in my life, because of someone doing these school programs. So we haven't seen any fruit. We haven't seen anyone raise their hand and say, I want to become a Christian. I want to accept Jesus. But what we're praying for is that God's word does not return void. We're basing everything on God's promises. We have not seen any direct fruit, but what we're praying, what we're hoping, what we're asking God for is that his word will not return void. We have been faithful. We have shared God's word. We've had over 3,000 gospel conversations, and we trust that God will not let those go to waste. So where does that leave us? Where do we go from here? There was a couple that was meant to come in and take my place. There was a couple, they were supposed to come in and pick off where I'd left off and take it and run with it. They were not allowed in the country for the same visa reasons that we're having to leave. The visa laws have changed, so we are leaving. They were not able to come, which means I don't have a replacement. So what that's actually made me able to do is hand this stuff off to local churches. Every one of my major programs, I have been able to pair with a local church that is excited about being able to reach students. So it's actually gone from me and OM doing this to actually being able to hand it off and equip and mobilize the local church, which is just a dream come true. It's awesome to see that we're able to do this, that we're able to actually take this thing that has been going for years and years, that without the people doing it before me, I would never have been able to build the relationships to do the recurring programs. And without the recurring programs, these churches would have never been able to be involved. So it's incredible to look back and see God's provision in this, and now see it at just this right time. I'm able to hand off to local churches. The schools have said, we don't want you to leave. The schools have told me that they don't want to lose what we've done. And the churches have said, I want to be involved in what you're doing. How can I do it? So I've taken these natural desires, these natural passions from both ends, and I've paired them. So all of my major programs will be continued with local churches. I've been in the process for the last few weeks of building those relationships, of writing up a curriculum and developing a packet that I can hand off. So what we're seeing is churches take this over. So it's so exciting to see that and so encouraging. Specifically for next steps for me and Ashlyn, we leave in a week. 1 week from today, we will be back in America, which is just crazy. Once we get back, we're going to do another video on what we have coming up, on what's next for us. You guys will be getting kind of some emails over the next few days, hopefully, of kind of introduction of what we're doing, and then I'll try and make a video of a bit more detail of what we'll be doing. But for now, thank you guys. Thank you for allowing us to do this. Thank you for equipping us to do this for the last 2.5 years. So much blood, sweat, and tears have gone into this country. We're heartbroken to leave, but we know God is calling us back. We know God is in this. So thank you guys. You guys are partners right here with us. Without you guys, we would not be able to do this. Without you guys, the gospel would not have been spread. These 3,000 conversations would not have been able to happen. So genuinely, from the bottom of our heart, thank you guys for allowing us to do this and for sending us out. It means so much to us. We are so incredibly thankful for you. If there's ever anything we can do for you, if there's ever any way we can repay you, please let us know. We are so thankful for you guys. We're so thankful for your passion for the gospel and for sending people out well. So thank you for what you've done. Thank you for what you've allowed us to do. And say goodbye to Ireland, and we'll see you again in America, either through the next video or once we actually see you in person. So this is us from Ireland. We love you guys. Thank you so much.